Namaskar, you are watching PM eVidya channels and NCERT's official YouTube channel. I am Rahul and you are watching me on NCERT's official YouTube channel as well. This is the live interactive session of class 7th and the subject is English. Today we are going to learn, I must say, we are going to enjoy the chapter Gopal and the Hilsa fish, understanding the text, but in a very, some other way. I won't tell you how, it goes. So let me introduce to the expert, she is in the studio with us, Miss Ekta Bhalla from the Mothers International School, New Delhi. Miss Ekta, namaskar and a very warm welcome. Miss Ekta, namaskar.
Miss Ekta?
Yes.
Who is Miss Ekta? I am Gopal. You don't recognize me?
No, not yet.
Oh, you don't recognize me because you don't study in class 7. But
yes.
the learners know me.
Okay.
Because I stay inside their book.
Okay.
I stay in honeycomb.
Okay.
In fact, I live in comics. I love comics because comics have a lot of pictures. And I love pictures.
So
you know what comics are? Do you know what comics are?
I know.
Have you ever read a comic?
Yes.
Please
because
tell.
I would like to tell you, my favorite cartoon character from the comics, Sabu.
Your favorite cartoon character is me.
Gopal.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Okay.
Nice. So what we are going to do?
This is what the comics look like.
Yes.
Comics have a lot of pictures and this is what a comic looks like where I live.
Okay, but Gopal, one question I have in my mind. As I can see you, you're in some, different attire, different some makeup, shabbily looks like. But why? What happened?
I don't always dress like this. I'm a very smart man. And I'm also very intelligent.
I can see.
I'm a jester.
Okay.
A court jester. And this is just because I had to do a challenge and win the challenge. So I dressed like this. Do you want to know what the story was?
Yes, I want.
Do you want to know what actually happened that I had to dress up like this?
Yes.
One day, the king called me to his court. One day, the king called me and as usual, he asked me to do something for him.
Okay.
I'll show you what he asked me to do. Just wait and watch.
Okay. Please tell me, who are you?
I am Gopal, your jester, sir.
Okay.
What can I do for you? This is the season of Hilsa. What
Yes.
can I do for you?
Hilsa? This is the season of Hilsa fish, right?
Yes, sir.
And everyone, everywhere is talking about it all the time. It is the only word I hear. Oh, this is making me sick. Shaking. Please help me.
What can I do?
Yes.
What do you want me to do, sir?
Gopal,
Your Majesty, what would you like me to do for you?
Gopal, I challenge you. Shall I?
Yes, please do.
To bring me one Hilsa from the market without anyone asking you about it on the way.
I took up the challenge,
Okay.
which I always do. I always take up challenges because I love challenges.
Okay.
And here's what I did. I went home and landed up looking like this.
Okay.
I shaved off half my beard and started looking like this.
Okay.
Next, what I did was,
So you're going to market to fulfill the challenge.
yes.
Okay. So let's wait and watch, dear learners. We have some background music. Okay. So this is the
Madman! Madman!
Is it Gopal? Oh, the poor man has gone mad. Mad?
Poor man. He was always
Totally mad. went, and then I went to the court of the king and demanded to meet the king. Call the king. I want to meet the king.
Okay, please be there. Let me check with the king.
But the guards did not let me meet the king. They stopped me from meeting the king, and here's what I had to do. Call the king, take me in. 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 Take me in. Ha ha ha. I
Hey,
was quite enjoying
hey,
myself.
madman, who are you?
I was quite enjoying myself. Call the king, take
You
me
cannot
in.
enter in the
Call
palace.
king, take me in.
A madman cannot meet the king.
Which is when I danced more and I sang, which is what I love doing because I am a jester. So call the king, take me in. Call the king, take me in.
So,
And finally, I had to stop because
Yes.
the king actually called me in.
okay, let's wait and watch.
The king actually called me in.
So this was the role of a god. So now let's meet Gopal to the king again. Okay. Guards, call the man in. Oh, fish. Gopal, this is the another one of your many tricks.
Finally,
You have
Your
won a
Majesty,
challenge.
here is your Hilsa fish.
Okay.
And nobody asked me about the fish on the way.
Okay, Gopal, you did it again.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Your
very
Majesty.
much.
And here is how I won my challenge.
Okay. So, all of them know the story. They can surely complete the flowchart shown on the screen. Let us, see the flowchart which will be on the screen shortly. And I'm sure this act will bring some thing different in your mind. And it will print in your in mind. And I think Gopal and the Hilsa fish, we can see some.
Dear learners, now
Okay.
that we all know, dear learners, now that we all know the story of Gopal, me of course, you and Rahul,
And the king.
so and the king, yes.
Okay.
So we can definitely complete the flowchart together.
Okay.
Learners, do you know what a flowchart is? A flowchart is something which is usually made to show how a process is proceeding step by step.
Okay.
A flowchart can be made for anything. So you can make a flowchart for making tea. You can make a flowchart for going to school, getting up in the morning, getting ready, going to school.
Yes.
So a flowchart is for anything,
Anything.
which has a process.
Right.
Here we have a flowchart for the story which we are all familiar with and we all like.
Okay.
Can we please start?
Yes, please.
Students, when we look at the flowchart, you will see that the flowchart is divided into two parts. And in between, there is something which is already filled with strategy written on it. Rahul,
Okay.
would you like to tell me what strategy means?
Yes, I think a strategy, some kind of tactics, or the a quiet trick to be used to finish to get some challenge.
Absolutely.
As Gopal did.
Yes. So strategy is a plan. So in between, Gopal used a strategy, and that is how our flowchart is showing the strategy right in between. The first part of the flowchart says, and slowly the story is going to proceed as each box in the flowchart gets filled. So the first box says, it was the. Any ideas on what we can fill in here?
It was the fish.
It was the season of Hilsa fish. It was the just a moment. It was the season of Hilsa fish. Can I say this?
Of
Hilsa fish.
okay.
The king. Now the second step says the king,
Challenged Gopal.
the king challenged Gopal. Can I also say that the king was very angry because people were talking about it all the time?
Yes, yes.
The king was
It was something.
angry.
It was something annoying for him.
It was annoying. It was angry.
Yes.
The king was angry because people were talking about it all the time. Were talking about it all the time. He called Gopal. And he got angry at the courtiers, can I say?
Yes.
He got angry at the courtiers and screamed at them. Then he challenged Gopal and told him to go and bring a fish without anybody
anyone
talking about it.
Right.
Which is when Gopal decided to use a strategy.
Right.
Which is when Gopal decided to use his strategy. And the strategy was that he would dress up like this, like I would dress up like this. And then Gopal dressed up as a madman and went into the market. He went all over the town. Can we just see the flowchart again, please?
Yes, please. Can we see the flowchart on the screen, please?
Yeah. So Gopal dressed up as a madman. He went all around the town and finally went to the Hilsa shop. He went to a Hilsa shop and brought a Hilsa fish. He took it to the king and the king was amazed that Gopal had won his challenge. So children, please remember that when we are writing in a flowchart, we are reporting what happened in the story. This kind of speech is called reported speech, which is what happens when we are telling about what a person had said or done in a story. Now, I have a challenge. I have a challenge for the learners and for us and for me and Rahul.
Okay.
So the challenge is that Gopal had a strategy to get the Hilsa fish to the king. We have to plan another strategy. So what is going to be my strategy to find the same thing which Gopal did, reach to the king with the Hilsa without anybody asking
about the same. Okay.
So can we think of a strategy?
We should.
Yes.
That's the challenge for us. As you know, Gopal did it successfully. So it was, I think halfway is the same.
Halfway is the same. We only have to plan another strategy.
Okay.
Learners, it is a challenge for you also to think of another strategy which could have been used by Gopal to go to the king without anybody asking about it.
Okay, so is there any money we have, to buy the Hilsa fish from the market?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we can buy, generally we go to the market and buy a Hilsa fish and present it to the king?
Absolutely. Gopal could have also worn a dress with many Hilsa fish made on it.
Right.
So that when he would have carried the Hilsa, it would have been camouflaged Camouflage means that it would not have been visible because of the dress which he was wearing with all the Hilsa made on it. So it would have been camouflaged and the Hilsa would not have been visible. Do you think the strategy would have worked, Rahul?
I think the other one can work.
Yes. So the king would have been happy just as he was with Gopal's strategy. Learners, it is very important that when we are when we are given a challenge, we think and plan beforehand as to how we are going to take up the challenge and then proceed in a determined manner to do what we have to. So my strategy is this, and this is Rahul's strategy. You can also think of another strategy and complete the story in whatever way is suitable and you want to do it.
Right, and also you can share it with us on the email ID of class 7. Please note it down so that we may have idea and we may enjoy the strategy by seeing the encouragement of our learners, definitely. So what would be the next thing to earn as a reward for the learners from this session?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Please go ahead.
So students, when we are talking of Gopal, we are actually talking of somebody who lives in a comic, and Gopal lives, are you familiar with Amar Chitrakatha comics, Rahul?
Yes.
So Gopal has many stories written about him in Amar Chitrakatha,
Okay.
which is a series of comics which many of us have read over time. So in these comics, there are different stories about Gopal and you must explore these stories, dear learners. I would like to show you one such story and read it out to you.
Please.
Yeah. So if you look at this, on top it says Amar Chitrakatha, which is a comic, and the name of the story is Who is the Master? Here again, Gopal, I'll read out the story to you first.
Please.
One day, Gopal was about to enter a shop when the shopkeeper came up behind him. And he says, what is written at the bottom, learners, I will just mark it out for you, is in reported speech, because it is reporting what the shopkeeper is saying to Gopal. He told Gopal to keep his dog out of the shop. My dog? Said Gopal. Gopal said that it was not his dog. It was not his dog. The shopkeeper insisted that the dog belonged to him because it had been following him.
Okay.
Not yours?
And Gopal said, this is not mine.
It was following you, wasn't it? And Gopal said, if the dog following me makes it my dog, then you were following the dog, so the dog must be your master. Which is so true.
Yes.
And if you want to keep your master out of the shop, then you better do it yourself. Why should I do it for you? Why should I do it for you?
Right. So we can say the Gopal is very smart.
Yes. Children, you will notice that in a comic, there are certain bubbles made where the characters' dialogues are written.
Yes.
These are called speech bubbles, and whatever the character is saying is written in direct speech inside the bubbles. When we report what the character is saying, we do it in reported speech and report exactly what the character had said.
Okay.
Now, while we have discussed this, it would be nice to discuss in each bubble if we change it from the reported speech which is given at the bottom to what the character has to say, how it can be done. So the shopkeeper, he told Gopal to keep his dog out of the shop. So, Rahul, any ideas about what I can write in the bubble?
So, Gopal had to reply in this dialogue box, right?
Yes. The shopkeeper can say whatever is being said by him underneath. He told Gopal to keep his dog out of the shop.
Out of the shop.
So he
Okay.
says.
So, Gopal said,
Hey Gopal,
hey,
keep
Gopal,
your dog,
keep your
out
dog
of
away,
the shop.
out of the shop.
Hey Gopal, keep your dog out of the shop. It can also be Gopal, keep your dog out of the shop. And Gopal says, my dog? This is not my dog. So in the next dialogue box, what we can write is, this is not my dog. He says, this is not my dog. And then the shopkeeper, however, The shopkeeper still insisted. The shopkeeper insisted that the dog belonged to him because it had been following him. So I can write in the box, not yours, but it was following you. It has to be yours, which is indirect speech. But it was following you, so it has to be yours.
Okay.
Which is when Gopal gets agitated and told the shopkeeper that the dog must be the shopkeeper's master, since the shopkeeper was following the dog. So he says, it was following you, wasn't it? And Gopal can say, you were also following it. So you must be, he must be your master. You were also following it, so he must be your master, or it must be your master.
Okay.
And if you want to keep your master out, then you better do it yourself. Why should I do it for you?
Agreed. So this is all about who is the master.
So learners, we can do some parts. We can do a little part of the strategy flowchart together.
Yes, please.
And if there are any questions, we can take it up.
Yes, I think, I think this is the way our students, can write their own stories as well.
Absolutely.
And can write something very interesting, and they can make their own comics. Nowadays, we can see there are so many applications and softwares. They can make such type of cartoons, dialogue
Absolutely.
boxes.
They can also make it. They can also make it themselves by folding paper, by making different boxes.
So be a writer, be a cartoonist, be a writer, and I'm sure be a good storyteller. There are so many options, to be nowadays.
Absolutely. So our strategy, which we had planned, was that.
Please have a look.
Yes, absolutely. So our strategy, which we had planned, was that Gopal will dress up with Hilsa fish in his dress.
Okay.
Gopal will dress up with Hilsa fish in his dress, and then he will go and buy the Hilsa fish and carry it so that it will be camouflaged. Do we know of any other thing that uses or gets camouflaged, maybe in nature or elsewhere? Or have we ever heard of camouflage in any other way, Rahul?
No, not me.
Have we seen animals getting camouflaged in the jungle when the background is green and the animal cannot, and the parrot cannot be seen on the tree because it is camouflaged because of the green background.
Okay.
The tiger cannot be seen in the dry grass because it is camouflaged because of the background.
Okay.
That is what camouflage means.
Okay.
Learners, the new words which we have learnt today are camouflage, they are strategy, and we have also been introduced to a variety of comics which you must explore. In your story, you have seen speech bubbles. There are also other kinds of bubbles which you will come across in comic books once you start exploring them. These are called thought bubbles and look a little different. They are made with little round circles and they are called thought bubbles.
So this is the way we can make some speech bubbles with the help of the insert tab. You may find so many.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Go to insert tab, and there is a shapes.
Yes, there are shapes and you can insert many kind of shapes, but one of them is the thought bubble, which is different from the speech bubble and has circles made on it.
So you can easily make your dialogue boxes, speech bubbles, whatever you like. There are so many options.
So the moment you see this bubble, you know that the character is only thinking.
Yes.
So if Gopal is thinking and planning his strategy, then inside the bubble he says, oh, so what do I do? What do I do? I must dress up like this and go out in the market so that I look like a madman and nobody looks at me. Learners, another thing which the story reminds us of is that the attention is always drawn towards what is most evident. If you look at me now, the first thing you are going to notice is only going to be half my beard. You will never, your attention, even if I'm holding the glass of water in my hand, attention will never be drawn towards the glass of water because it will always be drawn towards the most evident thing, which is half the beard, which is the funny dress, and which is exactly the strategy which was used by Gopal.
And the funny dance.
And the funny dance. So I hope you have understood the lesson well. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Explore the world of comics. Explore the world. Comics come in a lot of languages, of course, in English, in regional languages, in Hindi, and all the languages that you are. So please explore the world of comics. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. We are always there to help. Thank you.
Yes, and I'm sure we would like to see so many responses, after this wonderful storytelling session and this wonderful chapter of Gopal and the Hilsa fish. Miss Ekta, you came here with lot of, props, and I'm sure a lot of hard work you did, to deliver this wonderful session. I must say, this interactive session. So I would like to thank you on behalf of NCERT. So we have a 1.5 minute. How would you like to conclude this session, towards your learners?
Yes. So I would like to say that I would, my favorite comics when I was a child, and comics are very interesting for children. As class 7 students, I'm sure comics attract you a lot as well, because textbooks have a lot of reading material. Compared to a comic, the reading material is much lesser. So please enjoy them, explore them, and do let us know if there are any questions that you have.
Right, and I must say today's English class is a very fun-filled English class.
Thank you so much for your help.
Not a subjective class only, it had earlier. So Ms. Ekta, thank you very much for all your hard work and all your wonderful delivery to the class 7 students.
Thank you so much. English is to be loved, students. Yes. English is to be loved. It is to be enjoyed. It is for songs. It is for poetry, it is for comics. It's just something to be enjoyed and loved.
Yes, enjoyed and loved all the time. Thank you very much. And I must say, we should conclude this session now. We don't have much time to go beyond this limit. Thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you so much.
Dear learners, this is our English session comes to an end now. Don't go away. Keep watching class 7th PM eVidya channel. We'll be right back with the next session of social science. Keep watching. Namaskar.